Welcome to Sincerely Bhakti. I'm Bhakti Lata. In today's episode, we are exploring the purpose of virtue. We're reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, commentary by Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, chapter 6, verse 19. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. As a lamp in a windless place does not waver, so the transcendentalist, whose mind is controlled, remains always steady in his meditation on the transcendent self. Srila Prabhupada gives a very brief purport to this rather famous verse. He almost seems to restate the verse, but he offers an elucidation. Again, this is Bhagavad Gita as it is. He is offering a commentary that is meant to illuminate what Krishna is truly saying and no interpretation. So he gives his very brief purport. He says, a truly Krishna conscious person, always absorbed in transcendence, in constant undisturbed meditation on his worshipable Lord, is as steady as a lamp in a windless place. Now, if you've ever seen a lamp in a windless place and it's burning, and you see this fire, it's a beautiful sight. It's so, you see that it's alive. There's somehow movement and energy within this flame, but it's so steady. At the same time, if you were just breathe, not even on the flame, next to it, where there was going to be this slight movement, then that flame would start to dance, it would flicker, it would move around. So it doesn't take much to disturb a flame in a windless place. And when I read this verse initially, I was thinking, well, if a lamp is in a windless place, then it doesn't seem very difficult to remain steady. Isn't it a virtue to remain steady when everything around you is chaotic? That to me sounds more like a virtue. And in fact, the verses leading up to this particular verse, Krishna is emphasizing the importance of what Aristotle would say is virtue. Aristotle came up with virtue ethics. And so it's all about finding the mean and not being in extreme. So not eating too much, eating too little, or sleeping too much, sleeping too little. Of course, this isn't Aristotelian ethics. This is simply what Krishna is describing, but it brought to mind Aristotelian ethics because Aristotle emphasizes finding balance and not too much or too little of anything. And so that is what steadiness is, and that it's a character trait. And Aristotle describes that when one is truly virtuous, he experiences eudaimonia, which is a Greek term for inner happiness and joy and ultimate well-being. He would even say that that is the goal of the human soul, is to experience that kind of joy. But the real question is, are you going to find human happiness simply by being virtuous and being steady? That's not going to be the ultimate fulfillment, according to Krishna, according to Srila Prabhupada in this verse. There's some emptiness there. Just by living a very balanced, mode of goodness life, you won't find true happiness. That only comes from meditation on your worshipable Lord. And that's what Prabhupada illuminates in this verse, that Krishna, love within the heart and the soul, is what gives one a sense of well-being, and probably what Aristotle would say is eudaimonia. But we can see, though, that just by being virtuous is not going to make you only happy. You need to cultivate a virtuous life so that you ultimately can meditate on your worshipable Lord within the heart. A lot of these, what you would say, cautions or instructions to cultivate virtue are so that you are creating an environment that's windless. If you are living a chaotic life that is not virtuous and not balanced or harmonious, then it's going to be very windy and difficult to meditate upon the worship of the Lord in the heart. according to Dhyana Yoga. It's just difficult. At the same time, if we do keep Krishna in the center and we allow Krishna to fully enter into all of our activities in the previous verse, Srila Prabhupada quotes in the Srimad Bhagavatam, describing Maharaj Ambarisha and how he utilized all of his senses, all of his activities, his body in serving the Lord, thinking of the Lord. Everything was in service. And so we can be active in creating that windless place. What does a windless place truly mean? It means a place that I am steady and that I've created that environment. It's not just by chance or just hoping that no wind comes through. It really means that I am actively creating an environment